Hello, hello, everyone. This is Stop Losing, Start Trading, the trading show that we do here at the with the Panoptic team. I'm joined with Rosalie, aka the Crypto Queen. Yeah, how are you doing today, Rosalie?
Good. I'm doing good. It's a gloomy day in New York today. Lots of rain. Not feeling super bullish today, but I'm going to a Billy Idol concert tonight at Madison Square Garden, so I'm really excited about
Wow, this is exciting. I mean, I don't know if we probably haven't thought about this, but you also went to another concert and you saw some pretty impactful event that shook the world
it. At
live.
Coldplay, yes, I did. I was there live. It was so sad.
But did people realize, like, you didn't think it was going to be either like posted and filmed, right? So you said, "Aha, funny," but
Well, I didn't think it was funny. At first, I thought it was kind of funny. I thought he was making a joke, and then I realized because they were hiding so much, and then the camera stopped like showing them. It was obviously like not the vibe, and I was like, "Oh my god, this is so sad." I was heartbroken for their families and like the
I mean that they don't cheat on your spouse at all. That's it's on them for sure. I don't know what Billy Idol's audience will look like. I don't know if it's going to be fancy CEOs or
no. I think the people there are a little older. They also don't show the audience. We just get to listen to Billy
oh,
Idol and
where
Stephen.
is that? Yeah, that's right. So Madison Square Garden is a pretty big venue, though. I didn't know that they would like fill that arena.
Of
Yeah,
course, he's a
it's New
legend.
York. I
Yeah.
know. Yeah, I haven't been in a concert in a while, but yes, this is always. I lived in Chicago, went to Lollapalooza, which
Mm.
was an experience. Yeah, these music festivals, it's a different thing, but yeah, the shows are great too. Um, Gloomy weather, gloomy sentiment. I think there's the Fed announcement, or there's something Friday. I don't know what happens, but the volatilities are definitely increased. I think we can talk about this with Brendan as well, but there is a bear market maybe, or we've seen so much growth over the past week. Now it seems to be down, so this is how everybody feels, it seems. But fret not, there's always a way to trade this. But yes, lots of red in the majors. Yeah, me.
Yeah, I was looking at some chart analysis as well, and yeah, it's expected that Bitcoin and Ethereum are going to kind of stop this big rally that they're on and go down. And I'm actually really excited for that because that just means like we can buy more, so it's okay.
I mean, if it keeps going down, that's fine. That's a different outcome. But yes, no, I get it. Actually, let me grab this here. Yeah, Bitcoin ETH is definitely on the way down. 5%, 6% for Bitcoin, but 8% for ETH, which kind of we hugged the all time high, went down. Similar to Bitcoin. Again, you can look at Bitcoin, the granddaddy, but oh no, not this, but here. It's actually fine, but yeah, definitely on the lower end of maybe a few weeks. You're also waiting for these dips to accumulate, or it's you still already have an option trade in mind maybe for this.
I mean, I always have an options trade in mind as well, but I'm also just hoping to accumulate more. I was looking at trading view charts and just trying to understand more what the sentiment is at the moment.
The
And yeah.
lines, how do the patterns cross? Yeah, I'm not a big technical analysis guy because I think everything is quite random, but there's always these kind of sentiments, momentum trading. If it goes down very suddenly. Same thing when it goes up. So there could be room for some of this analysis. But yeah, I haven't really tried to look at the charts. But this is yeah, trading view. We have some wizards, I guess, in the team that can draw these charts. But kind of yeah, hovering back and forth. Nothing that may seem to be dangerous, but definitely on the lower side. Um, this is Bitcoin. I guess ETH also has been going down a little bit. It, yeah, a few weeks ago. Wait, a week ago. Yeah, we're speed running through a lot of this, but just a week ago we're quite high. Now it's going down. It's it's fine for me. When we trade options, at least even intern, we have a wideish range, which is a monthly option. So it's like plus or minus 20%. So we can think of 4,200 plus like 400 negative 400. We're still in range, which is great. But yes, price going down if you zoom out to this 1 week. Some people are. Sad. Oh, it's been going up a little bit. Who knows? So at the end of the day, what we want to look at is how to trade these big moves. If it's going to zero, there's definitely a trade for this with options in a way that may not be as accessible for regular traders. Even if you use perps, there's always a risk of liquidation if you're wrong. So options is one of the things that helps a lot with being strategic, hedging your risks, making sure you don't get caught because of the inherent intrinsic nature of the options. And if you don't have too much leverage, you can also kind of avoid liquidation better if you don't have at it. But before moving, I think any one market in particular you'd like to look at on this, we have Bitcoin, Ether, ETH/USDC. Take a Bitcoin because find also the ratio ETH/USDC, ETH/ETH. Um,
Yeah, I mean, we could. I know we just opened a new position on ETHUSD, so maybe we should start with the ratio trade, Bitcoin, Ethereum.
All right. Yeah. So this one, yeah, my mic might be cutting. Unfortunately, I'll have to figure it out. We have one trade, which is bullish ratio. We're using a reasonable amount, so I would say we could add an extra position to this one. This one is a monthly option that we opened 5 days ago, so nothing that we should be maybe worried about. But yes, definitely. No, it's fine actually. Yeah, we earned some premium. Price went down. We're basically at break even. But this is one of those where I'm not worried at all because we're so close to the middle. So we have this bullish maybe trade in mind. You see, you might want to open a new one. Are
Yeah.
you bullish, bearish, neutral? How do you feel about? Actually, we can go this way. How do you feel about the ratio?
Well, so I have a question. Does outperforming only mean if it's going up? Like if Ethereum drops faster than Bitcoin does, is it also considered outperforming, or is that kind of different
I mean,
lingo?
if Bitcoin drops faster, then it's actually the ratio is going to go down. So yes, you outperform, the ratio goes up. You underperform, go down faster, then you see the ratio going down. So again, this is the yearly, but we're back more or less where we started. But Bitcoin in that case overperformed over ETH. Now what we've seen is ETH overperforming over Bitcoin. But if you flip this around, we can see that ETH underperformed the first half of the year and Bitcoin underperformed the second half of the year. So get that is Bitcoin overperforming, ETH underperforming in the beginning. Then you have the reverse. So you may think that ETH will underperform to the dismay of some of our viewers. Okay,
Yeah.
and then we already have something that's a little bit bullish, but we can imagine that we can have a slightly larger or kind of even bigger, similar size position that is compensating. But yes, and again, since you talked about the charts, is there a floor that you think we can revisit, like the floor of July a month ago, or the floor of April 3 months ago,
I
or
would
even lower?
say, yeah, I would say potentially something closer to July. I think maybe, but maybe not as low.
Yeah.
Um, so like in the higher region of that, I would
So I would
look
say
at.
that like 0.25, which would be here actually, is again could be a good target, and I would use the monthly because this is probably some going to be a slow moving. We can imagine creating a call option that is definitely going to benefit for the price going down, and we can imagine the lower end to be near that target, so that if the price does go and breaches that July level, then we're full in profit zone.
Yeah, so I was thinking about creating a strangle as well, but since we already have a bullish position open, we don't
Yes.
necessarily need to, right? So
Exactly. So, yeah, you have to look at the whole multiple positions. You have one. I don't know what the size, but yeah, we have one bullish one. This one would lose, I guess, if the price goes down. So here you would kind of shift this, and then the whole thing could still be bearish, I guess. So always very good. Keep in mind that you have two positions open. You may not want to add an extra put leg here. But this leg will definitely be what is gaining on the way down. Now that I could look about it, this is a monthly option. The other one is a weekly one. So even though we're kind of not losing too much, we might think about closing this because it's been, I misspoke earlier. It's 5 days into a weekly. So maybe Friday we'll see what it looks like.
Okay.
That could be also another. Yeah, this is definitely a bullish scenario. The reason, and then the bullish scenario, it goes down. There's this weird slope here, and this is because of the way that we do the accounting. You would be bearish the ratio. You would be actually betting on the ratio to go down, but you have more ETH in your balance when you mint the position. So if you go all the way out, this is flat when it's out, but as long as you're in the money, we kind of distribute some ETH to you. So if you have this bearish ETH in mind, you have some exposure, and technically you go to zero if the price of ETH goes to zero. But that's something that, as you managed earlier, it helps offset the break-even point on the upside. But yeah, it does add more risk. But if we're managing early, it's fine.
Okay.
All right, so that could be a very good trade. Let's see if Intern's going to listen to us. But I'll post this in the chat so that you at home can replicate this, or at least have an ID and then look at it and kind of even play with it if you want. So that's string of numbers. You can paste this out of the YouTube comments and also create a bearish trade on the ratio of ETH USDC. Let's see the other markets, and I think the interesting one that we had also, we did one trade in ETH USDC. I looked earlier. This one was working for us in terms of the price. It was a bearish trade. Price going down. We can have a quick look. Oh yeah, these are the forks. So we can remove this. This is the bear. It's working for us a little bit, making $3.75. It's a bearish trade. We're almost back to where we were. Collected some Streamia, paid some commission. Now it's 6. I guess something the price probably has moved since we spoke. But yeah, this one is good. Had we looked at it earlier today, it would have been better because there was a mini bull market, it seems, over the past 10 minutes. But this one is also good. Yeah, or how do you feel? Do you remember the setup here?
Yeah, I think this is still out of range. So we're redistributing that out of range liquidity. We're buying a free option here and then selling a put option in range where we can collect some fees. Those fees seem to have been accumulating quite quickly due to the volatility. It's
I
quite
was gonna talk about that. So let's have a quick look at the volatility. The market itself, it's actually quite volatile. Bitcoin, we talked yesterday, that was on the lower end side of the volatility, but here on Uniswap, we're quite high, 83 percentile, 51 every rank. But all of those, any signal that's above 50 is on the one side of being more volatile than usual. So as a trader, that would be a very good opportunity to sell options. It's very volatile, and selling option, typically they call it short vol, but you are exposed to more volatility. But the key reason why you may want to sell now is that volatility typically reverts to lower levels. It spikes, but then slowly bleeds out to being lower. So if there is a big spike, it cannot go higher necessarily, or at least if it goes higher, there's a ceiling. So it might seem counterintuitive, but when volatility is at its highest, this is when you are benefiting from selling options and being range bound, because it can only shrink from there as opposed to moves, and vice versa. If it's extremely low, and it's been low for a long time, and if you look at the equities market, S&P 500's IV is quite low, like the lowest it's been in multiple years. This is maybe a signal for a drastic move, an explosive price drop. Maybe you don't see explosive price going up in equity. So that means as a seller, you are exposed to more risk, because there's only one way for the IV to go, is higher. So if you get caught, you're short volatility, the meaning that if volatility goes up, you lose. So back to ETH, it's actually a good environment to trade. The IV is quite elevated, and we're earning quite a bit of fees, which is great too. But yeah, I would say that this is probably another one where we just have to wait for this to realize. And I'm looking here. So we do call spreads, we sell puts, sell calls because we're on the sell side. Uh, we can also be on the buy side. And going back to the title of the talk, if you truly believe it's going to go to zero and you have maybe a crystal ball, selling calls is fine. But again, if you have a strong conviction, you can buy put options, and that will bring the profit potential much higher. So I'm going to show the payoff curve as well because I see there's some liquidity here. But you can look at bullish and bearish strategies, but the one that is the most interesting in terms of payoff is buying a put option outright. And a lot of folks do this for speculative purposes. This is like shorting maybe the asset on the perp exchange, but you have no liquidation risk. But you can think of if you have one ETH worth of position and the price goes down, you are very quickly exposed to one ETH of negative exposure, but with 1/10 of the collateral requirement. So you kind of leverage 10x with this. So that's we don't do as much buying, but if you're also want to be profiting from price going down, buying puts is the standard way of doing this.
I'm always worried because I feel like the market doesn't move as fast as I expect it to. And so it just accumulating, paying fees over time. But it definitely looks like if you feel comfortable making these bets, that then you would make a good amount of profit here. And we've seen that with the best trades as well in our trading competitions. And yeah, you just kind of gotta trust your gut and go for it, I think.
Yeah, I mean, if you're also indecisive, you can buy a straddle. But as you said, you pay over time, and this is kind of a weird mindset to be in because you say, "Oh my God, it's not moving." You always kind of hoping for the best, and then it's like a lotto ticket. Sometimes it goes up. A similar thing happens in traditional options, but you pay upfront. And you can pay a lot. You can say you pay $1,000, and then you slowly go watch it go down and down and down. And that is kind of how options buyers are maybe more subjected to these moves, and psychologically it's a bit harder because here it's just a small funding rate that you pay, so you can exit at any time. Here, when you're buying a large amount of straddles or put options and you see it bleed, it's again you have to have a strong conviction, I guess, to do this. So I'm not sure about going up, but if you're extremely undecisive and just think that there's going to be a large price move either ways, E to 10K or E to 1,000, then you can make a lot by buying options.
Yeah. This looks like a not my kind of trade, to be honest.
It's actually, yeah, exactly. You've selling options is not as flashy but more consistent, I'd say. So we've probably averaged like more than like 60% of success in our trades. Buying options would be 30-40%, different mindset. But yes, I like that the I'm also on the sell side. So these you can buy options for hedging, which is fine, but not necessarily for pure speculation because it's quite hard to be sustainable.
Yeah, I agree.
Maybe one last trade, which is we talked about it a little bit, which was the Solana ETH trade, which yeah, okay, interesting. Yeah, the Sol ETH is a ratio you can trade. Again, Kyle Samani from Multicoin and David Hoffman wanted to bet whether the ratio is going to go higher or lower. So we can probably call the bottom at like 0.04 or 0.041. But if you are also maybe indecisive, you can also buy a straddle or buy an option, but you can also bet on the price itself and moving. So
Yeah, I think we have a question from the audience here. Funny that we're looking at the Sol ETH pool. Someone named Saul asked a question about showing an example of selling a call.
yes,
Yeah.
exactly. Oh yeah, that's good. So great question. We'll go to the ETH USDC because it's a slightly more liquid and easier to kind of walk through the examples. We had ETH USDC. You had a call sold on Bitcoin, but if it's on the ETH USDC, we still have this weird kind of going down. And yeah, we have to do this because this is how the transfer of funds happen. But yes, if you sell a call, let's say you're extremely bearish, the call is fully in the money, you make the most money if it realizes itself and leaves that range. The way this works, that when you mint this option, you'll have some intrinsic value, meaning you have some funds. You're selling a call at the 3,200 strike. Price is 4,200. So in a way, you are committing to sell at 3,200, and the price is higher. So you can already kind of get the delta. You can sell one ETH now for 4,200. Uh, Commit to the 3,200 price. You have a price difference of 1,000. So that price difference means that you receive some ETH. You actually have to sell less now because you technically can sell it now and then buy it back cheaper. So anytime you have a in the money option with calls, this is the weird thing, but you get some ETH inside your account. And if you were to sell a put in the money as well, you get some USDC in your account because here you're committed to sell at 6,400 and the price is lower, so you can pocket the difference and then get the ETH out rate at the lower price. So both being in the money allows you to collect an upfront fee. In regular option, this is intrinsic value. The price of the option will be higher when you look at your options chain. Here, we don't quite show it, but the intrinsic would be distributed to you in a way. So the payoff that you see here is true. It's just that you get some funds when you mint, and if it moves, you have to pay it back. The good news that if it does move all the way out, you pay nothing back, so you keep what you got paid for. But if you are closing it while it's still somewhat in range, then you have to pay back. So you get maybe 1,000 USDC in your account. When you close it, you have to pay 400. So you still make 600, but it seems that you're paying out. So that's kind of the seems like you lose either ways because you have you have to pay it back, but it's all deducted from your account. So even though you get paid initially, you pay back. The payback is less than what you got. So this is a little bit maybe the trade-off that people have to be mindful of, because selling calls is the same thing. You receive some ETH upfront, and then you have to pay it back when you close if it's still in range. But if it does leave the range, then you can keep it. So both of those are like you have, again, the question, you have large intrinsic values. This is kind of the accounting that you have to do internally. We show it a bit more upfront here, but once you mint it, you have more USDC, more ETH in your account, and you have to kind of take this into account. So we haven't seen that much of that happening with intern because we do spreads. We do maybe the straddles that are kind of moving one way. So one leg is making money, the other one is losing. So the deltas aren't as much. But if you are a single leg, quite directional, then these intrinsic values could be important. So we do, I'm not going to, we show it a little bit, but we may make it a bit simpler as well for people to see the flow of funds. But yeah, that's kind of hopefully it makes sense, but TLDR. You get paid up front when it's in the money, but you have to pay it back. And some people say, hey, I'm closing this account. Seems like I'm paying $200. But in reality, you got paid 400 a few days before. So you're still net positive.
That makes sense. Yeah, hopefully that answered your question. Thank you for the question. We're happy to answer anybody's questions always. Maybe you can reach out in Discord as well if you need some more details. But yeah.
Yes, exactly. Again, I should be on Discord more often, but I'm also very happy to answer those. Actually, and I have another event to go to, but yes, we can probably wrap this and see if Brendan has some interesting news to talk about. He's been pushing through and then making sure we can get it in. But yeah, let me stop here. Hello. This is normally options hour, so yeah, let's.
Good to be here. It's good to stop losing too. So.
Yeah. How's your? So you've been presumably the competitions, right? So you don't have to dox yourself, but then over the past few competitions, were you happy with your performance, or you've been losing too much? Given the market?
No, I'm happy. Like, I wasn't super active, mostly doing some test trades and just collecting some nice points, and pips is always fun. So I didn't win any prizes or anything last competition. I wasn't the biggest loser though. So.
That's right. That might not be what prize that you want to get. So interesting.
But yeah, I mean, things have been interesting. I haven't traded for the last couple of weeks, but I did want to highlight. I think you guys have been discussing this for a while, but just the volatility is, at least for Bitcoin, is very, very low. If you look at this 1 year chart, it looks like. we're down at like 35% or so. For ETH, it's a different story. Like I think we're still, I guess, here we're still like trending sideways at 71%. But
So is it 35 now on Bitcoin?
it's saying, I mean, not on Uniswap.
Yeah, exactly. Because
August
I'm
20th.
looking at my Tasty Trade account, and it's 43 on IBIT, which is that Bitcoin ETF, and they tell us the IB rank is 37, so it might have been increasing on the ETF side. And I haven't mentioned this, but I've been kind of trading the Ethereum ETF as well. So it actually has some quite decent liquidity on the ETH, but the largest Ethereum ETF has a bunch of liquidity. And this one has definitely a higher IV of 81, I guess, if you look at the weekly, and IV rank of 88 too. So we also see a much higher IV on Panoptic and IV rank as well. This is also matched with the ETFs, which have been kind of also more accessible now to people. But yeah, this is definitely a volatility trade. If you think that ETH should be a bit lower, BTC should be higher, there's kind of even with these ETFs a trade that you can do.
Yeah, and the interesting thing is, even though it is low on at least on Deribit, the option sellers seem to still be profitable. At least if we look at the variance risk premium here, we see that despite the lower IV, the realized volatility is also trending down, and so the variance risk premium is positive. So option sellers do seem to still be.
I like that they show this. We should also show a similar thing for sure. But yeah, the for those that don't, the variance risk premium is that the IV is always higher on average, and it's not depending on the level, but at least it's been higher than realized for the past few months. And when it flips, this is when again the market sentiment definitely shifts. But yeah, when it's negative, then yeah, you at least as a seller you have to be careful.
Yeah. So I quickly highlight that, and then question for you: does this picture remind you of anything that you might know of?
Did we do something about like a history of options trading?
Yes,
right.
I remember this.
Deribit stole our picture. Oh my god.
No.
Oh no, no.
Stole this picture from someone else.
Oh, I see. No, yeah. Every once in a while,
Oh.
I've seen like people using my charts for my Medium articles, and I'm fine. But yes, it's public domain.
Yeah. I mean, this isn't our picture, but it's been very popular. People have talked about the history of options. So if you remember who this philosopher is,
Thales.
you can maybe win. Yeah, good answer.
I know my philosophers.
So this was an announcement of their linear options. So they have a new product which they're calling linear options, which I thought was a very interesting choice of name, because I wasn't sure, are they only selling like in the money options now or something? But no, these are as opposed to their inverse options. So Deribit has had coin margined and settled options. I guess they had coin settled options. They had cross margining, so they've always had USDC cross margining, but they have been after their acquisition by Coinbase, Deribit has been pushing for USDC integration in a lot of things. So, for example, in July, they started rewarding USDC collateral in terms of like that 4% or 3.5% yield that you get on Coinbase. You would now get it if you hold USDC on Deribit. They also took down the haircut for cross collateralization of USDC from 2% to 0%, which means you could now cross collateralize with USDC without any penalty. And finally, they are now catching up with options by letting you settle your options in USDC. So you can earn, around 3.5% to 4% just by holding USDC, and then also trading options on them and getting it all back in stablecoin.
Definitely bullish for Circle, the Circle Coinbase maybe a relationship. And it's not USDT. I don't know if Deribit was using USDT also in the past, but this is also very bullish in terms of like them opening up to more US markets, but also making sure that the traditionally, like the traditional options, which are collateralized by cash mostly, are still available. But that USDC is kind of Coinbase putting their brand there, and putting a thumb on the scale to push it towards that.
Yeah, I don't know if there's some pressure by
Delisting.
but I did see this was last month. Delisting the main perp pairs, BTC USDC, USDT, and ETH USDT. Perps, interesting
I
enough.
don't know. Yeah, I mean USDT has like this. You don't want to touch this too much. It's a bit of a black box. So I can imagine that everything that's USDT and is owned or partially owned by a US company, you probably have to assume it's going to be phased out.
And maybe they'll change because Tether did just hire someone from the White House, from Trump's administration.
Oh, wow.
But we see this all the time. Yeah.
So lots of revolving doors.
Bo Hines, yes, exactly. I don't know. So the first 6 months, they have already burned through the crypto chief, or
this might be it might have been the past, like from the previous administration.
Okay.
Not too familiar, but
all right. Might be bullish. Definitely the president is bullish crypto, and it shows with the regulatory, and if Tether, I'm sorry, hires them, they'll probably have a good relationship here.
Yeah. And I guess wrong. He was for this administration, the Bo Hines guy, but
I see. So
he resigned. Maybe.
Well, yeah, maybe quick. What's his background? I guess is he really crypto native? I guess from the early life.
Yeah. Picture at Consensus.
Okay. All right. Actually, so I'll have Rosalie and Brennan keep at it because I have to go. But thanks very much, Rosalie. We will have a trade made by this one. But yes, overall, this is great. I'll have to go, but yeah, you can keep going if you want.
No, thank you very much, Guillaume. Thank you, Rosalie. I think this concludes our options hour and stop losing, start trading with Rosalie, aka Crypto Queen. Do you have any final words for our audience before we part and see you in 2 days again?
No, I think we covered everything. I don't actually think it's going to go to zero, so don't be too bearish. I think there's a trade for everything, and we're excited to cover the best and worst trades on Friday, and we're going to have some exciting news coming up for everybody as well. So stay tuned.
Sweet. Okay, well, excited to hear the news. I think we got some really cool announcements. Hopefully we can announce them soon. We are dying to announce them. So just waiting on everyone to be in sync, and then we will have some cool announcements. I'll just leave it at that. No details, but hopefully we'll get something going soon here. So awesome. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll cue the music here as we slowly fade away out of your browser. Take care, all.